Assalamu alaikum. You heard this phrase, Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim, meaning in the name of God, most merciful, ever merciful. It's from the Quran, and this phrase, this sentence, is 19 letters long. There are exactly 19 letters in the sentence. Also, this sentence, this phrase, is used in the Quran 114 times, which is a multiple of 19. That is 19 times 6. Also, every word in this phrase is mentioned throughout the Quran as multiples of 19. This one, Bism, meaning in the name, is mentioned 19 times. This one, this word Allah means the God, is mentioned 2,698 times, which is a multiple of 19. This is 19 times 142. This is obviously 19 times 1. And this word, Al-Rahman, meaning most merciful, is mentioned 57 times. It's 19 times 3, multiple of 19. This word Al-Rahim, meaning ever merciful, is mentioned 114 times, which is also a multiple of 19. This is 19 times 6. And this phrase, like I said, is used in the Quran 114 times. 19 times 6. Now, there are a lot more interesting things, miraculous things about this phrase, which will show you that this is a divine, there's a divine design, mathematical structure in the Quran. Now, if you add these results of these divisions, this 6 plus this 3 plus this 142 plus this 1, you get 152, which is also a multiple of 19. This is 19 times 8. So the whole sum is 114 plus 57, that, and this 26, 98 plus this 19. The whole sum is 28, 88, which is a multiple of 19 and a multiple of 19 again, times 8. 19 times 19 times 8. Now, when you look at this phrase, if you know your Arabic, there is a letter missing in this sentence. There is a typo. And it is this alif right here. There should be an alif here. The correct way to write this word is like this, with an alif, like this, 4 letters. But this, let's say, typo on a purpose made by God makes sure that all of this math holds up. First of all, had this been written correctly, by the way, this typo is not a one-time thing on one Quran. It's literally on every Quran ever written for the past 1400 years since the Quran have been revealed to Muhammad. This has been the way it's written. You can pick up any Quran in wherever part of the world and check it for yourself. This is written like this without an alif, and it is incorrect. Shouldn't be written like this. It's been it's a purpose. It's a typo on purpose. So this all of this would hold up. So this is, like I said, is 19 letters. If had this been written correctly, this wouldn't be 19 letters. With 20, it would break. This would be 19 times 3, 22. It would break. I will explain to you why it would break in a second, but it would break. This would break. This would break. The whole sum would break. This would not work. Would break. This would break. All of this would collapse. But just by removing one letter, God is showing us. God is showing us that this book, the Quran, is a divine design, because even one letter is on purpose. It is designed by God to the letter, literally to the letter. I was gonna explain to you why, had this been written in the correct way, this would break. And I need to explain to you a couple of things. First of all, there are 114 chapters in the Quran, which is another thing that's a multiple of 19. This is 19 times 6. And there is a Basmala. This phrase, Basmala, is on the beginning of every chapter except for one. There is no Basmala at the start of the chapter 9. So it would be 113. Then how come, like I've said before, are there 114 Basmalas? Because there's an extra Basmala. There's a rogue Basmala that's not at the start of a chapter, which is the only case where a Basmala is within a chapter, not at the start. This is on the chapter 27, verse 30. This is what is written on the letter of Solomon. So we will call this the Solomon's Basmala. And it's the exact same phrase to the letter. This word is written in the correct, incorrect form on purpose in this one as well. By the way, if you add these up, 27 plus 30, you get 57, which is a multiple of 19. This is just by the way. So now, why had this been written like this, why would there be extra 3? Because not every Basmala has a verse number. In fact, most Basmalas does not have a verse number. What I mean is this. When you get the first ever verse of the Quran, which is this, a Basmala, this is chapter 1, verse 1. This has a verse number, it is 1, 1. Not every Basmala has a verse number. So for the second chapter, 2 and 1, you would expect this to be a Basmala, because the first verse of the second chapter, but that's not the case. The Basmala comes before this verse. This is not the Basmala. This goes right into the chapter, and the Basmala itself, even though it's there at the start of the chapter, does not have a verse number. It just doesn't have anything on it as a number. And again, this is the case in every Quran that has ever been written. If you go and check the earliest scriptures of Quran, you will see that the only first Basmala and this Basmala have a verse number, because this is also a Basmala. There's a Basmala in this verse, exactly like all the other Basmalas. This one has a verse number, and the first ever one has a verse number. All the rest of them does not have a verse number. So this one Basmala that has a verse number is the first ever Basmala, this one. The other one is this one, 27 and 30. And there's another one, which is on the chapter 11, verse 41. This is what Noah says as he is getting on the ark. So we will call this Noah's Basmala. But with this, it would, by the way, this 113 plus 1 completes into 114, which is a multiple of 19, which is another case that we can witness that this is a divine design, because there is only one extra Basmala with it. It is completed in the 114. This is also a Basmala, but it's not a complete Basmala, it's half of it. It's just Bismillah, meaning in the name of God, not the complete phrase. But it is also written in this way, in the way that it's a stamp. It's really a stamp. This typo on purpose is a stamp. And the Basmala in this verse, which is half of it, still written like this. So it's 1, 2, 3. There would be, had this been written correctly, this count would break. because we do not count the remainder 112 basmalas. Why? Because again, it's another divine design, because these just simply don't have a verse number. They don't go into the count. Again, another had these been given a verse number by God, and it is by God that these haven't been given verse number. The instructions to the Muhammad from God did not include giving these verses a verse number. So again, had these been given a verse number, even by mistake by people later on, all of this would break. But none on no Quran you will find a verse number for 112 bismillahs, and they don't go to the count because they are obviously against tempt. Don't count this. This is what God is saying. Don't count these when you are counting this. So there are many more miraculous things about these two verses, and I will show them to you right now. Now, when we are calculating the whole Quran, we have right here 6,234 numbered verses plus 112 unnumbered basmalas, which comes to 6,346, which is a multiple of 19. This is 19 times, let me check, 19 times 334. Now, this is the whole Quran. When you are taking the whole Quran, you need to obviously take all of the verses. Doesn't matter if they're numbered or not numbered, because you are taking the whole Quran. This is how many verses in the whole Quran. Because these are verses too. Basmalas are verses too. They're just not numbered. This is the whole sum. Every verse in the Quran. And it is 19 times 334. Now, if I write the Quran like this is the first verse. This is the last verse, 114, 6. Now the Solomon's Basmala, and I will call it the Solomon's Basmala because it's in the verse, it's what's written on the start of the letter of Solomon. Solomon's Basmala is 27:30. And Noah's Basmala, and I will call that the Noah's Basmala because it's what Noah says as he's getting on the ark. It's on 11:41. Now these two verses, like I said, they are stamped with the incorrect form of this word, but incorrect on purpose. These two verses are stamped, and these two verses are the only case throughout the Quran that this word is written in the special form. They divide the Quranic verses in multiples of 19s. There are 1,520 verses here in between these two, from the start of the Quran up until this verse, which is a multiple of 19. 19 times 80. And there are 1691 verses from here up until here, which is again multiple of 19. This is 80. This is 89. And the remainder of a multiple of 19 has to be, because the whole sum is a multiple of 19. This is 31, 35, which is 19 times 165. This in itself is amazingly miraculous. But guess what? It's not over. Now, If we get these verses 1141 and 2730 and add each individual numbers 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1 plus 4 plus 1 plus 2 plus 7 plus 3 plus 0, you get 19. It's just amazing, but it's not even over still. If we conjugate these two verses to a 8 number long number like this, 11, 41, 27, 30. So this would be what? 11,412,730. This is a multiple of 19. This is 19 times 6,00670. It just doesn't end. This is like the tip of the iceberg. This just 1919, it just doesn't end. And it makes you easier. It makes easier for you to envision this. If I remove this, erase this, this is a multiple of 19, like this. This verse splits into two 19 letter parts, and this is also, this verse, like this, is also divides it into a multiple of 19s. So this and this and this is a multiple of 19. I mean, this is just, it doesn't end. And like I said, this is only the tip of the iceberg. Now I will give you additional information about these two verses, these two Basmalas. One of them is a complete Basmala, exactly like all the other Basmalas at the start of each chapter. And one of them is, like I said, is a half Basmala, only half of this phrase. But I will give you a couple more things about them. First, if we get all the chapters and we add them up from 11 to 27, where these two verses are found, if we add them up, 11 plus 12 plus 13 plus ... plus the last one, 27. If we combine all of them, we get a number that is 323, which is a multiple of 19. This is 19 times 17. Yes, and in this range, the words of the Basmala are mentioned 570 times. If we look at this range and we count all 4 words of the Basmala and we add them up, we get 517, which is a multiple of 19. This is 19 times 30. Also in this range, we see that this word written in this special way, which is really a stamp, is found 19 times. 19 times. This word is written in the special way, in this range, 19 times. So remember, this is the wrong way or special way to write this word. The correct way should be like this. The correct way should be like this. But in this range, we see that this word written in this special way 19 times. Not like this, but like this.